Let's talk a little bit more about the Stanley Cup Final with our NHL analyst, Martin Biron. Marty, we've been talking a lot this postseason about Kris Knoblauch and his ability to make adjustments mid-series, mid-game. Yeah. What adjustments from the Oilers coach stood out to you in Game 1?
Well, it was really smart because he realized that the Florida Panthers were basically running three lines. Like, they barely played their fourth lines. So when they're down 3-2 going into the third, he's thinking, how can I put more pressure on the Florida Panthers and wear them down? And what he did is he put McDavid and Draisaitl together. Now, it's been happening many other games where you put those two together. But the biggest thing here is that there was a method to putting them together. It was to wear down the Florida Panthers. And now you keep getting McDavid, Draisaitl on the ice. And since Florida was only rolling three lines, what happened in the third period is the shots were 14-2 for the Edmonton Oilers. It tired them out. And now in overtime, you got to roll four lines. So the Florida Panthers put their fourth line out there a few times. It actually led to the puck over glass by Nosek and the delay of game penalty. So this is what happens when you're aggressive like the Florida Panthers, not just in your style and play, but also in the way that you manage your bench. Kris Knoblauch responded by saying, okay, I'll put you in a very uncomfortable position. I'll put McDavid and Draisaitl together. I'll create offense. We'll have the puck. You'll chase us, and then you'll have to change. And it worked perfectly for Knoblauch. I thought that was so smart, and it was the right time to do it. It wasn't pressing the panic button. It was seeing what Florida was doing and countering that and playing their game, in a different way.
And then Stu Skinner outdueled Sergei Bobrovsky, 29 saves in game number 1. And he was especially great in that second period, Marty. What did you like about his game 1 performance?
I love how calm Stuart Skinner was. Even when he gave up the third goal, there was no chasing the game. There was no, stress in his game. He stayed very calm. Usually, I would say Sergei Bobrovsky is the calmer of the two goalies, but it was the opposite. Bobrovsky was a little bit more aggressive with the poke check and chasing the game, and Stuart Skinner was very calm. And what I loved most is that game had some highs and lows for both sides. So again, in the third period, the Oilers are dominating. Stuart Skinner only sees 2 shots. And at the start of overtime, all of a sudden, the Florida Panthers are applying the pressure. Stu Skinner made some great saves early in overtime. And for me, that was the key here. If you start getting antsy and you get kind of like going a little bit too emotional about the game, you're not going to play well at the start of overtime when you're being asked to. But he stayed very calm throughout the whole game when he was busy or when he wasn't busy. And that allowed him to make some saves in overtime to buy time for his team to get a power play goal. So he flipped the script, right? I would have said Bobrovsky's the calmer goalie. Skinner gets a little agitated, a little excited. Well, it was the other way, and it really worked well for Skinner. Now he can take that into game 2 and more in the series.
Marty, there was a little bit of controversy in game 1. First period, Sam Bennett ties the game. The Oilers challenge for goaltender interference, and the call on the ice stands. Did you think it was the right call?
No, I didn't. I thought Sam Bennett knew exactly what he was doing. The rule book says if you get pushed, shoved, or fouled into the goaltender, then we should count the goal. It was no push, no shove, no foul. It was a little bit of the skate touching, and Sam Bennett thinks, I'm going to fall on the lap of Stuart Skinner. I thought that was clearly goaltender interference, and I like the challenge for a couple of reasons. Once, it's early in the game, plenty of time to recover. I don't know if Kris Knoblauch would challenge if it was 5 minutes, 6 minutes left in the game, and that made it tied. You don't want to go shorthanded, with just, a few minutes left. But the other thing is it showed Stuart Skinner, I'm with you. Like, Stuart Skinner was adamant, saying, he fell on me, I was interfered. And Kris Knoblauch, don't worry, buddy, I've got you. Now, goalie interference challenge this postseason is 0 for 4. Coaches have been 0 for 4. Yeah. And I think the league doesn't want to take away goals, so it has to be very obvious. But I was 100% behind the challenge. I thought it shouldn't have counted. But I think the Oilers may adjust depending on when in the game they have to challenge and take those risks.
We know with Zach Hyman out of the Oilers lineup, other players have to step up. Marty, I was blown away by Kasperi Kapanen. He was flying out there. Yeah. He's got the flow going, the beautiful hair. He pots a couple of assists. He almost ends the game in overtime on a breakaway that practically looked McDavid-esque. Is he just peaking at the right time?
Yeah, but I remember when Kasperi Kapanen got drafted, and I was really excited for him to get to the NHL because he has the speed, he has the hockey sense. It never really clicked everywhere, but it's clicking now. Even Leon Draisaitl said after the game, he is a fantastic player. He's a big reason of where we are. But funny enough, I played with Kasperi's dad, Sammy Kapanen, in Philadelphia. And I remember Kasperi being 11 and 12, running around the locker room, playing mini sticks in the hallway with all of the other kids. My son was in there. But the thing about Sammy is he was an extremely smart player. He was a smaller forward that had a lot of speed, but he could play defense if you needed him to because he could play all the positions. And Kasperi Kapanen is smart. He could play top six. He could play bottom, fourth line. He can be on the power play if you need him. He can be on the penalty kill. And he even acknowledged after the game, saying, this is maybe my last chance to make something in the NHL. He's really taken it. And I love that, you're seeing the speed, you're seeing the flash, you're seeing the confidence. He takes sometimes some bad penalties, but he's engaged in the game. Even when he missed that breakaway, he was on the bench, like slamming his stick and yelling. I love that emotion out of him. So I think this is great. And I see a lot of his dad in him. He's got a little bit more swagger than Sammy did, but I really see a lot of his dad in him. And I remember him running around the locker room, and I'm really excited for what he's doing right now.
The Oilers will look to go 2-0 up on the Florida Panthers at home Friday night in Game 2 of the Cup final. This is Martin Biron.